to race against this time, to have, to cede power, and in this case, he's ceding power to Raila Odinga. Now, this is what I will tell Raila Odinga. At his age and with the wisdom I knew that he has, with the cunningness that he has actually accumulated over time as a seasoned prophet, why not take the entire deal? Why not negotiate for Ruto's exit completely? And you come in and take the government fully. Why not? Why are you appearing like you are also a coward, settling for small things? Why not just take it fully? Media, I'm actually watching you. Just with your peanuts. So for Raila Odinga, why not negotiate as a king? Why not negotiate as a statesman? Instead of taking piecemeal here and there. So we know and all of you there, it seems like you deserve to be sent out packing. If you have nothing to do there, you better leave. So, that's a work of intercessors to see how to cover persons there. When you say that you pray, you fast, you are eating and getting fatter in your flesh, but in your spirit, you have nothing. Now, we have enough backups for our prophecies. Just wonder why people we have there are not using their skills. We have enough backup. We have solar, we have generator, we have electricity. That can tell you that some people are sleeping on their jobs. So, this prophecy is a serious one. And no amount of arrows will stop it. And I have an issue with our media. Really. You can be sure there will be no salary for a while. So this prophecy I share about Ruto and Raila Odinga, and I said that the prophecy is now coming into fulfillment, and Ruto has 45 days in office. And the prophecy that I gave, it is a timeline. And actually the timeline is between timeline ends in April 22nd, which is this year, 2025. And I remember telling us, countdown to Ruto's exit. Countdown to Ruto's exit, which I've been counting down. And I told Kenyans, watch April 22nd of this year. And it actually marks prophetically the last day of Ruto in power. Now, Ruto having actually gotten to maybe hearing my prophecies, and which I'm sure that he has his wise men who were actually those prophets out there, whom have been employed to try and beat my prophecies. They've been employed to try and counter my prophecies. I say, hey, Ruto, no one can defeat God. And Ruto is now hurriedly ceding power. So rather than actually give it out completely, he's angling himself to rule through Raila Odinga. And I say, hey, Raila Odinga, with all the wisdom that you have, with all the knowledge you have, with all the cunning, the experience you have actually gathered over time as a seasoned politician, why not negotiate for the whole bread? Why not negotiate for the entire government? Why not negotiate and take the entire government? Tell Ruto to give it to you and let Ruto walk out. If I was Ruto also, so if Ruto also Raila Odinga, and Raila Odinga seems to know it, but also is feigning ignorance. Ruto has lost favor with God. And I remember saying that God will hound Ruto out of office. And so, I would rather have Raila Odinga negotiate and negotiate for the whole government, and you take it and clean it. But in your ignorance, you are like inheriting, getting into Ruto's mess, which is also a trap. The mess that Ruto created and is creating, Raila Odinga actually dips himself in it. And you know what? Kenyans will never forgive you. Ruto goes down, Raila goes down with him. Confirmation of judgment told you that Raila Odinga will die Ruto's death. Raila Odinga and his house will be sharing in a judgment that was not meant for him. The judgment that was cut out for Ruto, Raila has actually embraced it himself. And what do we see in Raila Odinga? We see greed. What do we see in Raila Odinga? We see an issue. You are actually doing away with your birthright and settling for what is actually cheap compared to what you should have. We know that Ruto has lost it. And Ruto losing power is not accidental, going by the prophecies I've shared before Ruto came to power, and eventually now is exiting power. So he wants to hang on through Raila Odinga. Kenyans should know that Kenya Kwanza ilikwisha. And Gachagua being evident that actually Kenya Kwanza ilikwisha. And so Ruto's government today is a government of troubleshooting. He's actually trying to survive. Holding here, holding there. Holding here, holding there. And his advisors, which includes Kinasudi, they have told him, hey, bring Baba in. And today, Sudi, Cheragay, and those Ruto errand boys, today they're actually singing Baba. If I was Raila, I'll be very afraid. I'll be very afraid. Anguro ichiele gimore. Anguro ichiele gimore. Anguro ichielo gimore. Mbuta ichielo mana gimore. Raila jogi chieli. Ichieli. I say that a pig is actually fried in its own oil. Those who love eating pork, pork is actually fried with its own oil, if not fat. Those of us who love eating Nile patch is you fry it with his own oil. And you know what? Raila Odinga is being fried with his own oil. Will Kenya benefit? Remember the prophecy I told you. That anything that has Ruto's rubber stamp is disaster. Everything that has got Ruto's rubber stamp is disaster. How do I know? God tells me. everything that Ruto invents comes with disaster and calamity. Why? He runs out of favor. And I told Kenyans that the handshake between, Ruto, Raila's handshake will not be in the interest of Kenya. It will be a bad omen. Today, look. Since Raila Odinga started dancing and singing the same tune with Ruto, Kenya has become a nation when if policemen abduct you, and you're going and then you get locked up somewhere. No one coughs. Raila Odinga, who will actually have coughed, went silent. He got muzzled. So we're in a nation where, if government is fed up with you, you just go incommunicado and you go into limbo. They take you nowhere. They take you incommunicado and they release you at their own, at their own pleasure. That's how we have had kidnappings that are mysterious. We have had killings that are, killings that are just like become normal. Slaughters. Is there anybody today trying to, become a Raila Odinga? If you try, you are taught a lesson. And that is what happens when opposition is swallowed by the ruling coalition. We are in a nation that is like the hyenas are on the ridge, mauling, tearing at will. Now that is actually the bad omen I told you. Ruto became a what? Ruto became a monster. I told you this monster will swallow parliament. Someone check 1 year's prophecy ago, 2 years ago. I told you the monster will swallow Senate. I told you this monster will swallow Judiciary. And I told you this monster will swallow the church. And the only thing that was remaining is Raila Odinga. And it was well calculated. How will Raila Odinga be swallowed? With the help of false prophets, courtesy to Benny Hinn and those are other fake prophets that came. They made it look like God wanted Ruto to swallow Raila Odinga. And courtesy of the whites, America and the European Union, they actually stage managed Raila Odinga being swallowed by Ruto. And the handshake or the cooperation, look where it has placed us. Well, someone should remember I told you that even the NADCO report will not be implemented. To the glory of God, here I am. Someone tell me, did my word fail? The NADCO report was just a game of moving chairs. It was just a chase. Wild goose chase. Today, after all the money spent, that NADCO report is nowhere. Kalonzo Musyoka is on the left wing. Raila Odinga is now playing center stage. Guess who is back to be dining with the very enemy that they were to kick out? Kenya yenyu ndio hiyo, nchi ya maajabu. They despise my word, but in the night they actually analyze the words I speak. They ignore what I say, but in the night they are busy crafting out to defeat prophecies that God sends me to speak. So who is the prophet? Who is the prophet? So today, this thing that is called handshake, there I said it is a bad omen. It remains a bad omen. I told you your parliament shall fall. Parliament shall fall. Your Senate shall fall. Today, look at what your parliament is doing. They are passing stupid legislations. Did I not tell you Isaiah 3 verse number 4? That your king are babies. And your king is a child and your princes are babies. Look at the legislation they are passing. They are all ridiculous. Someone should remember, I gave you that prophecy. And I told you, Ruto's last days in power shall be marked with, amongst many things you see around, the drought, famine you see. And is it not biting? Should I go ask God to tighten the or you drink a little bit that will rain in the few weeks? Or I go back and say, God. These are actually judgments that Kenyans need to learn from, so that everybody will trust in God. Everybody will lift your eyes up to the heavens, Psalms 121. So that you lift your eyes unto the heavens. Where shall your help come from? Your help as Kenyans shall not come from Ruto or Raila Odinga. Your help shall come from the Most High God. That's if you look up. But Kenyans ne watu wale. I wonder how many Kenyans have taken to pray. I wonder how many Kenyans have taken to pray. I wonder. So, know this one. I told you that after the AUC elections in Addis Ababa, actually I told you before that Ruto will make some very, 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 shocking and astounding decisions. And you have seen that ever since the decisions are really, really, weird, shocking, and astounding. They are just astonishing. So much that I told you, the battles in Khartoum, Sudan, and the massacres of Khartoum will not be anything a statesman that actually, cares about his neighbor's welfare, involve himself with. And so we see our own Ruto angling himself and, get himself into the mess that he shouldn't have gotten himself into. Today, he is in problems. Similarly, look at DRC Congo. Today, Kenyans also got themselves into a mess. Look at Haiti. I told you, they'll come back with the coffins. Is it not being confirmed? Then I told Kenyans, it'll be out of your mind to allow your sons to go police keeping in a nation where the gang is the one raiding. The government can't help themselves. Why not America? Why Kenya? Ruto, desperate for money. Ruto operates a very strange anointing. I live to be remembered that I told Kenyans the truth. So shall Raila Odinga and Ruto partnership continue? Raila is blinded, and if there's actually a spell, Ruto's spell swallowed Raila Odinga. And Ruto spell swallowed Raila Odinga. Charms that he employed works. Raila Odinga being one that ignores prophets like praying for. I was done then, and today I am done with him. So, Totoni, you die your own death. That's what happens when people ignore a prophet. Not just a prophet, but a prophet sent of God. Jaduong tata toni analogo lueta kendo chon. Benda all kodi. Di chiem gi wasigu. Chima gi wasigu. Chima gi wasigu. Idonje ko mane okumari thulo donje ko. He has actually entered into this. When you enter snake's hole, who will go save you from there? And he entered having been done. Only about Ruto, Raila Odinga being given to rule in the government. So I asked Raila Odinga, and I said, your wife was taken, and you know that she was your wife. Then someone negotiates over your wife. So who goes with the wife in the day and who goes with the wife at night? And when you say our children, they look like who? Well, maybe they'll need to go back and dig through those prophecies. So actually that would be so. Raila Odinga actually has been swallowed by Ruto, and the monster Ruto is actually now feeling, yes, I have Raila Odinga. Now, Ruto is actually believing that is defeating prophecy. April 2022, date 2022 this year, is here. A miracle. Chebukati gone. I don't know what Ruto will say in his funeral, because he better go. He better go. The man that died with Ruto's secret, Ruto should better go give him honor. So Ruto better go. But all of us know the secret that Chebukati had is gone with. We prophets know that elections that people were given, these elections results, were actually cooked. And Kenya want to form another IEBC. Kenya will suffer constitutional crisis because formation of IEBC, you'll find that will be mountainous. When they hear me, they rush back quickly, try to patch up things. Well, you patch up things, but judiciary is falling. Whoever knew that the president of the judiciary will one time be taken to court? Angulo, ichiele gimore. Anguro, ichielo mana gimore. Mbuta, ichiele mana gimore. Now, so the president of the judiciary has been actually relegated to be one that is also fighting for our own survival in the very same courts. Broken, tattered judiciary. Today, JSC and the 7 panel of Supreme Court, they're at war. You know what? JSC will carry the day. The 7 bench judge will go home. Martha will go home. Why? God's judgment. Are they not the very, very ones that actually, supported the hand of the wicked? Ruto being in power was supported, rubber stamped by the judiciary. When Kenyans were expecting an otherwise ruling in Supreme Court, all we saw, we saw devils sitting in Supreme Court. Matokeo is what we have today. Kenya inchi imejawa na matata. So hiyo matata, Mungu ameangalia, baada ya Chebukati, I say Martha Koome, prepare. I say the judgment will wipe out every element that was actually involved in the, in those elections that I call them fiasco. They were just actually drama. We were taken through a process that was like a soap opera for elections. So Martha Koome is going. The rest that were with her are also going. Even if today they turn out